This is a revolutionary shift that might reshape the automotive landscape. The question on everyone's mind: is the world ready to trade in their trusted European automobiles for the rising tide of Chinese electric vehicles? As China's EV market gains momentum, we're about to explore the factors influencing this potential paradigm shift. Let's explore the prospects of trading European horsepower for Chinese electric sparks. At the Shanghai Auto Show, excitement was in the air, but beneath the surface, dread was another type of energy that crackled. European automakers watched as crowds of people flocked to the booths of Chinese automakers, their hands frantically examining the futuristic features and svelte lines of the cars on show. The message was unmistakable. The electric vehicle revolution in China had returned with a vengeance and was no longer merely a theoretical danger. This was more than conjecture. China overtook Germany and Japan in 2023 to overtake them as the world's top automotive exporter, and a substantial chunk of this achievement was fueled by electric cars. 6 years ago, China made up only 4.2% of the world's exports of electric vehicles. By 2022, this percentage had surged to 35%, a rapid increase that left well-known businesses gasping for air. There was a noticeable change in the scenery. Previously holding a 24.5% market share in 2018, Japan was the clear leader in EV exports. However, China overtook it, and Japan had to watch from the sidelines. The European behemoths, who'd long been admired for their technical skill and enduring brand, found themselves up against a strong rival with government support, market knowledge, and an unquenchable desire for expansion. A clear wake-up call was provided at the Shanghai Auto Show. The European manufacturers were shivering from head to toe, and not just because of the spectacular displays and enthusiastic spectators. It was the knowledge that they were no longer in charge of the pen, and that the future of mobility was being rewritten. This was survival more than it was competition. The real concerns were not if China would succeed, but rather how fast and completely it would change the global car industry, and what established players might do to remain competitive against this irresistible force. There's no simple way to determine whether the global market is prepared to replace European cars with Chinese electric vehicles. Although sales and manufacturing of electric vehicles are leading the world, China still has a long way to go before it can completely overtake well-established European automakers. First and foremost, established trust and brand reputation are important. European manufacturers have dedicated decades to building a reputation for excellence and innovation, as well as brand loyalty. Despite their fast improvement, Chinese brands continue to face negative opinions about their dependability and quality, which prevents them from being widely adopted by consumers in developed economies. Second, there's a big problem with infrastructure inequities. Europe has a strong infrastructure for EV adoption, which is necessary for widespread EV use. China is lagging behind, even though it's improving, especially in rural areas. Potential purchasers are uneasy about the lack of infrastructure, particularly in range-conscious regions like Europe. Thirdly, market dynamics are greatly impacted by government regulations and subsidies. China has significantly funded its own EV industry, which has aided in its explosive expansion. But questions about sustainability and unfair competition are raised by these subsidies. The Chinese EV sector may see challenges as subsidies go and trade tensions rise. Lastly, it's impossible to overlook cultural variations in consumer preferences. Performance, handling and design are factors that European consumers value highly, areas in which well-known European companies frequently succeed. Even while Chinese EVs are competitively priced and have competitive features, European automobile consumers may not always find what they specifically want from them. The automotive industry saw a sea change in 2022. If you've seen the sheer number of vehicles that come off the assembly line at the Orient plant in Michigan, you'll be aware of the enormous production capability of well-known automakers. However, this is nothing compared to China's increasing supremacy in EVs. China held a solid 9.3% of the world market for EV exports just a year ago. However, fasten your seatbelts because that figure is going to plummet in the most enjoyable way imaginable. Analysts forecast a startling doubling of China's EV exports in 2023. Which would represent a historic change in the industry's environment. Why is there an electric surge? A powerful concoction of elements is involved. Consumers are gravitating towards greener options as a result of growing environmental consciousness, and Europe is welcoming electric vehicles with open arms, led by nations like Norway. The fact that almost 2/3 of new cars sold there are electric is evidence of the continent's dedication to sustainability. Despite the fact that some may support de-risking and shifting production away from China, the nation's success with EVs speaks volumes. In this case, Made in China is more than simply a label. It's a representation of creativity, effectiveness, and a thorough awareness of consumer needs. They're creating cars that directly meet a demand that's been identified on a global scale, forcing established companies to catch up. China's wielding the pen as it rewrites the future of mobility. Every year that goes by, their hold on the EV market gets stronger. And their success is a sobering reminder that in certain cases, Made in China is not only acceptable, it's essential. China is well positioned to benefit from the worldwide trend in consumer consciousness towards greener solutions, which forces existing firms to face a critical dilemma: change or risk falling behind. With more than 50 nations and regions supporting the transition, the electric car revolution is gathering steam on a worldwide scale. The world's wealthiest regions are setting the standard, having already included more than 6.8 million electric vehicles into the worldwide supply network. With over 100 towns making the switch to electric vehicles, Europe is leading the way in this activity. Japan now leads the globe in EV growth, having seen a staggering 70% increase in EV adoption. BYD, a Chinese business that's cracked the code with its innovative Blade battery technology, is one of the major forces behind this transformation. This battery is a popular option for producers and customers because of its exceptional safety and efficiency. The success of BYD emphasizes how important battery technology is to driving the EV revolution. As additional nations and areas join the movement, these advancements will be essential to overcome obstacles like limited charging infrastructure and range anxiety. Without a doubt, electric vehicles will rule the road in the future, and businesses like BYD are setting the stage for a greener, more sustainable future with their innovative battery solutions. It's true that Chinese EV startups didn't have an easy ride to success. Do you recall NIO's 2020 near bankruptcy? They weren't alone. In their early years, XPeng and Li Auto were created between 2014 and 2015. They encountered comparable difficulties, so what fueled their remarkable turnaround and catapulted them to global prominence? This perfect storm of achievement was the result of several variables coming together. Initially, the Chinese government took action by providing substantial subsidies and encouraging regulations that stimulated the country's EV market. Chinese firms now have more room to grow, experiment and develop without having to worry about turning a profit right away. Secondly, these businesses acquired knowledge from their errors. Newer, more competitive models took the place of the earlier models, which were infamous for their poor quality and short range. They took customer feedback to heart, concentrating on styles and features that would appeal to the Chinese market. Thirdly, technology was essential. Chinese EV manufacturers made significant investments in R&D for batteries, which produced breakthroughs like BYD's Blade batteries, which were hailed for their efficiency and safety. By concentrating on core technologies, they gained a competitive edge. Globalization eventually turned into their catchphrase. After becoming well known nationally, they focused on global markets. They started to establish a notable presence in Europe and other areas by figuring out local tastes and adjusting their offers accordingly. Not only was the reversal a result of good fortune, but it was also a determined move into the international market, a strategic response to market feedback, government support, and technology improvements. Despite ongoing difficulties, these formerly struggling Chinese electric vehicle startups have demonstrated their adaptation and tenacity, emerging as significant players in the global automotive industry. In conclusion, even if China has achieved significant progress in the EV industry, it seems doubtful that European cars would soon be replaced by entirely Chinese models. Obstacles include policy ambiguity, infrastructure deficiencies, cultural quirks, and brand perception. But the world market is changing, and it's impossible to overlook China's quick progress. In the years to come, the answer to this issue can vary as infrastructure grows, technology advances, and brand perception changes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay connected with our journey through the world of innovation. Feel free to share your thoughts and comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned for more exciting insights into the world of technology and innovation.